You know how I know most of you are guys? None of you commented on my disgusting t-shirts that I was wearing in all the other videos. The only people that did was my daughter and my wife and a friend of ours, family friend, which is another female. So that's how I know you're guys. You didn't care, but my wife gave me a hard time, so I had to dress a little better and try to make myself look a little more presentable. Today we're going to talk about Federico. Federico talks watches. Federico Liso? Anyway, Federico talks watches. Federico is online for many years. He used to have a very good relationship with Tristano at TGV. And then something happened. They stopped talking to each other. Then he moved from New York to Miami or Delray Beach, where he's now making his own business. And I wanted to see, because we talked about dealers before, we're going to see if he's good. Most of you thinks he's great, but I'm going to be the judge of that. We discussed my experience with me trying to sell my watches to Federico before in Delray Watch, but I don't want to take it just because that didn't happen or I thought that he was trying to bargain a little too much. I want to be a little more subjective. So I've been watching Federico for many years. I am subscribed to his channel for many years. And I want to see the shift that I saw. I want to talk about the shift that I saw from him giving information to him selling watches. Obviously, there was a time where he was working. He had a job. He was working at the watch box. And he had his channel, everything was doing great. And then he decided that he will have his online store. And you can see the content changing with time, going from informative to just selling pitches, really. That's all that he did. But what is Federico doing? So Federico, I heard from many of you in the comments that he is bargaining a lot when it comes to sell watches to him, and one of you said that basically this is his tactic. He asks you, what is your price? You say the price that's in your mind. He says that you're too far apart, and basically that in his mind is something that you come back and say, you know what, no, I can do this. So basically you bid against yourself, and that is his tactic. I don't know, I only tried to sell him watches once, so I don't know if this is something that he does always. You guys let me know in the comments down below. I'm sure you're gonna see this video and you're gonna come if you had any transactions with him. That is the bad thing. The other bad thing that I see is that on his website he has a lot of not so nice watches, watches that most of us don't care. And based on my experience now of how much he's probably buying those watches, I know that his profit margins are crazy, and they're crazy for a reason. These watches don't move as much, I understand that, but if you make 80, 85%, 90% profit, come on, like profit. Okay, margin, because many of you came back and he said, oh, it's not profit. You has to take pictures, and then he has to post, and then you have to verify. Screw you. Come on, guys, we understand that. We understand. He already has those employees. He has them to serve your watches. He has servicing in his company. He has a couple of people. He probably pays under $50,000 being in Florida. So it's okay. He has some overhead, but it's not what you think. Okay. He doesn't have a store in Fifth Avenue. He has a warehouse somewhere in Delray Beach, and that's it. So don't go crazy. But he makes decent profit margins. Now, the one thing that, so that's another bad thing. His watches are not great. And then if you try to sell this kind of watches to him, then he's gonna tell you, oh, they don't move or whatever. He's gonna find an excuse like they all do. When it's to sell you something is unique, but when it's time for you to sell them something, it just doesn't move. So here, take 10 cents on the dollar and be happy about it. And he definitely does that. The other thing that he does is that all his videos are sales pitches. So every time that he talks about watches is because he has them in stock, or surprise, surprise, a couple videos later, that's when they come in store. So he already talked to you about them. They got you hyped, and then 2-3 days later, here's the watch. So that's what he does. These are the bad things, but there are good things on Federico, and I wanted to talk about this because many of you came up and really trashed the watches that he has in his store, which I understand. But with all that weirdness in his watches, and some of them are really disgusting, like some rectangular watches that he has right now, and he sells like for $1,500 or $2,000, and I know for a fact that he probably bought for $200-300. So he's gonna make a lot of money whenever he manages to sell them. He has some very unique pieces, and it's not his fault that the market right now doesn't support that. For example, he has a Longines that is GMT 40 millimeter, amazing watch. If I was in the market right now, I would probably buy that watch. I'm not even joking. It's a little dressy. That's the only bad thing about it. But other than that, it's delicioso. He has Glashut Original for under $4,000. He has Zenith from $2,500 to like under $4,000. And under $4,000, the one that under $4,000 is also 18 karat gold, 37 millimeter. Incredible watches. And if those were Patek, you would run for them. So we know that it's also our fault that we go for the brand and we don't go for what's actually good, because Zenith, those watches, has also manufacturer caliber. So you know it's in-house movement. Zenith primarily is known for being a movement company, and then secondarily as a watch company. So they make their own movements, in-house movement, 80 karat gold, and under $4,000 doesn't get better than that. And then the steel version, I mean, that thing is delicious, and it's $2,500. Are you telling me that an in-house Zenith with in-house movement doesn't worth your money? Like, oh. So it's not his fault always. He has a Vacheron, Constantin, overseas chronograph for under $14,000. That's Rolex money for something that's Holy Trinity, and it's really the only manufacturer that is consistently in the market for the past 250 years. I know there's names that are older than that, but those are just the names. Vacheron has been in the market continuously for 250 years. I mean, come on. It doesn't get better than a Vacheron, if you ask me. I would argue probably better than Patek. Controversial. I'm sorry, it's my opinion. And he has all that. So you have to give kudos for that. And then he does have some real knowledge. If you see his videos, especially the older videos, because now he's talking about basically what's in the market and market prices and what you guys like. And I guess those videos also get more views and get people to the website, so he makes money, so that's fine. I understand why he's doing it, but the older videos when he didn't care about that and he was talking about the actual movements and the cases, and he had his watchmaker Hans talking about watches. It was incredible, and you could learn a lot of things, and you know that he knows a lot. He's been in the business for many years, and it's obvious from the way he talks and the things that he says. I've seen another negative thing that I've seen, I saw him changing opinions a couple of times. When he had that beef with TGV, Tristano, he came up and he said that all these people are fooling you because they promote cheap watches that lose their value and they cost nothing. You don't get anything if you sell them, but they buy the good stuff. And if you see the wrist, they have all the expensive models from Omega to Rolex, especially Rolex. And that was true. TGV did have a lot of Rolexes while he was trying to sell Squale. But at the same time, he came up like 5 months ago talking about how sometimes it's good not to spend all that money and you could spend less. And surprise, surprise, a few days later on his website, he had some very economical watches. So yeah, he's definitely a seller. He's definitely here to make money, but he does know what he's talking about. So what is he? Is he a friend or a foe? I say if you're trying to buy, he can be a friend because he does have watches that are probably even out of your radar altogether. The pricing is decent. It's not the cheapest. You can probably go on eBay and find the same piece $200-300 less. I'm talking on like $3,000 watch. You can probably get it $200-300 less. But then you don't have a relationship with somebody that's Federico. Then next time he might take care of you better, or who knows what. At least that's the assumption. So that's the thing about it. Now, if I was to sell, he's a foe, 100%. I would never sell to Federico, not in a million years. Guys, I tried to sell him something. He didn't even make an offer. And I got the same feedback from you in the comments on that video where I'm talking about the dealers. And that video is over 10,000 views. And for a channel this size, 300 subscribers, come on. And many of you said that you got the same response, just nothing. And one of you came up and said that you have experience with him and that this is his negotiating tactic, trying to make you bid against yourself. So definitely a foe. I would say friendish when it comes to buying, definitely a foe when it comes to selling. But that's all for today, guys. Let me know what you think about Federico. And if you want to talk about any other dealers, let me know in the comments down below so we can continue this as a series or not. Till the next one. Ciao.